Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of What Really Happened. With me today, a true, reporter joins the show. Also a former classmate of mine from Tascosa, Max Preston. How are you doing, man? Thanks for coming on the show.
Doing great. Yeah, I just want to say go Rebels as always. Good to see you again, Carter. Doing great. Just happy to be on your show today. This is exciting. I haven't really done anything like this in a while, so thanks for having me on.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's when I see you on Instagram and social media all the time. It seems like you're doing really big things in Abilene and everywhere else you go.
Yeah, I mean, just got a reporter gig down there after going to ACU. I knew the news director through a few classes I took at ACU, and he offered me the job about a month or two after I graduated, and so I took that job and learned a lot. Got to do a lot of cool things down there. I mean, I learned about the business and how to anchor and report in a station or a local news type setting, and it's pretty cool. And so now I'm officially done in Abilene, and I'm moving on to Missouri to be a sports director over there at KODE, ABC station over there. So pretty excited. I'm at my parents' place right now, just kind of chilling for about a week or so, and then I'll head up there. So in between moving jobs, you caught me at a pretty good time. So
That's pretty awesome, man. Congratulations on the new job.
yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate you.
So, we'll get into that a little bit, but I just want to know, kind of get your background, how you got started and everything. I just kind of want to know, how'd you, how can I ask this? How'd you decide that journalism was the route for you? How'd you make that, I want to make this a career? How was that process for you?
Yeah, exactly. And so I think, for a lot of people, they kind of just know, but for me, I was kind of lucky. I would have been probably one of those guys that, kind of went into college undecided, but, my mom was pretty helpful to me. She, was kind of just like, hey, you know what? My senior year in, high school, she was just kind of, hey, you know what? You like sports, and, I think you're a pretty good communicator and talker. Why don't you try to do something with, sports broadcasting? I was like, yeah, that sounds good. And so at first I was looking at Oklahoma State. They had just a sports media major. So you could do sports broadcasting, learn how to report and anchor and produce for sports. But then I took a trip to ACU or visit to ACU and met a lot of the professors there, a lot of the people over there. And they were just very nice and offered a lot of experience, and kind of you sounded like, or they sounded that they wanted me. It's nice to be wanted. It's nice to be, yeah, when people want you to come somewhere and do things. And so, their promises they made were given, and I showed up and started doing stuff right away. I think I started doing like a sports cast, I think my second semester, my freshman year there. And so, I learned a lot, and I credit a lot to ACU for giving me a lot of experience. But just going to that school, and, it's not necessarily a small school, but a lot of people would think it's a small school compared to a lot of, bigger universities out there. But, I really did like ACU because I think they offered, experience quick. And I think at Oklahoma State's a great school, but I think it's, so big that a lot of people don't get a lot of experience there until, your junior year, maybe even your senior year. So, a lot of people in the journalism or broadcast world went to bigger schools and they come out, pretty successful. But I think for those schools also, there's probably a lot of kids that didn't necessarily make it, or at least they're not in the job that they really wanted. So I think for me to just hit the ground running and make sure that I had, good experience or something that I could do, it was good for me to go to ACU and get 4 years of doing on camera experience, writing experience, instead of just going to a bigger school and maybe hoping that I could do it by my junior year or senior year. So ACU was really helpful with that. As far as the rest of my background at ACU, I had a lot of, great professors that really taught me a lot. I had just several classes that were really helpful to me to learn how to be a good broadcast journalist, how to write broadcast, just kind of how to do certain things that would help me kind of just jump into this job at the station in Abilene pretty easily and just kind of start going and doing good there. I think what really helped me or made me look good in the end of towards the end of my time at ACU was they got this thing called ACU TV. Hutton Harris was the director there, and him and I became pretty good friends. I had already met him doing spotting for CBS Sports at just certain PGA tournaments, and he got hired to do the TV job at ACU, and he's built this great, I want to call it empire there for ACU TV, because they have a whole production room, and then they have a whole studio right next to the production room, and they go to our basketball arena, they go to the football stadium, and they do so many things and just set up and do live broadcasts or just broadcasts out there. They'll do a ESPN Plus broadcast for football and for basketball a lot of the times, and they do a good job. I mean, there's mistakes made because it's students, but that's just because they're getting immediate experience, and so of course there's going to be mistakes made, but they make it look so nice. It looks just like a regular ESPN broadcast you'd see on a Saturday or any other day for basketball or anything like that. But Hutton really dressed up the studio and made it look good for me to enter in and kind of do the first reps with the studio. And I hosted coach's show for football. I hosted our first 2 basketball shows we ever did for ACU because we had only been doing a football coach's show, and then me and Hutton were like, why don't we do a basketball show, because both teams are going to be really good, and we should do a show weekly for them. And it was cool because they both ended up making the NCAA tournament that year, the ACU men and women. The men played Kentucky, and they got beat pretty bad, and then the women played Baylor. They got beat pretty bad. Both of the top tier, teams in NCAA for basketball. But just being there, the experience was great, and it was cool. And then here's 2 years later, after COVID hits, they canceled the tournament. The ACU men beat Texas in the first round of the tournament, and I was just like, yeah, I couldn't believe it, But just so many. It's kind of just like your dark horse experiences at ACU. You're kind of shot in the dark, things that ended up happening. And just kind of for me being in the right place at the right time, thank God for a lot of those experiences and just kind of, what happened at ACU, because a lot of those things were just kind of just good for me, doing a lot of things that were dressed up by Hutton Harris and the journalism department there. Kenneth Pybus was the chair of the department. He made a lot of good decisions and made sure we were helped out. And, ACU was really my background. And that's really how I learned to become a journalist and kind of just be professional and, not just kind of do a hole in the wall, sportscast every other week like some schools do. Man, we made it look professional. ESPN broadcast. We would produce these shows, move them on to KTAB, the station I eventually worked for, and man, it was just great. It felt like I was already doing a job, doing a career, in my own school, and that was really how I came to get to where I am now with this job. So I credit ACU a lot. ACU was a great school, and I'll always return back to visit them and thank them. So ACU is great. So that was really my background as far as getting to where I am now.
That's awesome, man. You shared a lot of great information and a lot of stuff that I didn't know a whole lot about. So, that's pretty cool, getting that experience and, sharpening those tools to help better your future and stuff like that. Cause I'm a mass communications major. So getting that experience any way you can, I think will really help you in the long run, So it sounds like you're way ahead of the game. So
I saw you at some of the competitions. Remember? You were with AC, and then I was with ACU.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the competitions, yeah.
Yeah, in Dallas. I remember that.
Yeah, I remember seeing you. I was like, oh, what's up, Carter? What's going on?
It's a lot of fun competitions, too. That was my first one in Dallas. That's the one and only one I've been to. I was so nervous going into that because I had no reason to be there whatsoever. I was brand new into the game. So I was like, what's going on? And then bam, got baptized by fire pretty much. So, so I just want to know like what aspects of, I kind of talk about tip a little bit because it's more like for people who don't know, it's kind of like a big journalism conference, stuff like that. You get to do you do feature photo, you do all these different events and everything like that. So I want to know for you, like what aspect of journalism do you like tend to lean to the most? Like what do you like the most out of journalism?
You know, I mean, I like a lot. I think coming in, I think I liked the idea of being able to be a personality. I kind of always wanted to, showcase personality. Like I had been an actor. I've done some acting stuff when I was younger, and I'd also kind of like, just I'd done like choir, like singing. I'd done just some performance stuff. I think I always had been kind of just really interested in the idea of just having a personality or just having something like a communication and like doing TV. I'm trying to put this in the least, like, I just want to be on TV way, but like it's, I mean, in part that's a cool thing about the job is, you're on TV and it's fun. But I think I also just, like combine sports with communication. I was just like, if I can get like, if I'm paid to talk about sports and be on TV, that's an awesome gig. That sounds great to me. That sounds like a cool thing. Really it's just, I think journalism is cool because like, you do, you can spark conversations with people because they'll see you're on TV and you can meet new people. You can meet, personalities you would never thought you would meet before.
Yeah.
And I mean, you tell certain people's stories too, and you get, you feel good about it. You feel like you're doing kind of a community service by telling some certain stories. Sometimes it's just highlights and just kind of like, this team's ready for the season or whatever. But like, sometimes it's, you're telling the story of somebody, just kind of how they grew up, how they faced the hardships they faced and bounced back to become a fantastic athlete and just come in and, do things that they weren't expected to do. It's just kind of stories like that and just kind of the rise of certain teams and players that make it just so, make it like just a great job, make it a thing that you really want to do. And, a lot of people will think that sports is just, games, highlights and just kind of scores, stuff like that. And I mean, I enjoy that. Like I enjoy that a lot, but some days you get blindsided by emotions when you do a story that's just like, someone came from something so tough and now here they are on top of the world. It's just like, it's like something you don't expect to feel as a young college student. It's like, oh, I just can't wait to, cover the Cowboys or just something like that. I can't blah, blah, blah. Then you cover something local, like a high school and a kid that just, is doing really well. But, oh, he had something that happened to him early in his life but he didn't care because he bounced back and, made a comeback and here he is, so it's really just those stories that catch you by surprise or that you don't expect to happen that end up being so good. And that's what's great about journalism. I mean, it's just so many benefits to this job. It's just, when you do stories and when you do, especially when you're in a market, TV market, that's a lot of high school coverage, you really will please a lot of these parents, a lot of these kids, these coaches, by just kind of simply covering some of their schools, because some of them don't know if they'll ever get coverage or if they'll ever be known. And when you show up sometimes, you can just simply put a smile on their face by, oh, he's covering us, And so, I mean, like, that's just really cool because, I mean, at the end of the day, you can think, oh yeah, I'm getting camera time. Oh yeah, I get to talk about sports, but sometimes you're touching these people's lives, and like you're telling a story that's really important and, something that a lot of people, even if they might not be connected to it, can feel connected to it or at least emotionally moved by it. And it's just, that's a great thing about journalism. And like this job will also take you anywhere, different places you think you'll go to and places you think you'll never go to, and, I've been from covering Big 12 championship or Texas Rangers to going somewhere like Hamlin, Texas. That's about 50 miles away from Abilene, small town, but they ended up going to a state championship for football. And I mean, they get on the state or national stage and, it's something cool, something like a small town can become something so cool. And I mean, that's that's really what's very interesting about this job, I'd like to say. So
That's pretty cool, man. So I want to kind of pick your brain about this, because you have that experience, you have the knowledge so far, and I want to know just, is the need for journalism, the need for it, is it higher today than it was, I think, years past or decades past? Do you think,
well,
what's your take on it?
I think that's a good question. I think in a lot of ways, some types of journalism are dying and some types of journalism are going up. As far as, newspapers and just kind of like, handwritten or just kind of hard copy stuff is kind of dying because it's all online and you can just search Google. You can search what you want to read about and search what you want to know. You see an update on ESPN from your phone and it's something like a headline. You're like, wait, what? And so you'll Google it and you'll see a lot of things pop up and you'll just read the article and be done. You don't have to wait for a newspaper these days to, give you all the information. So in a lot of ways, print and hard copy, journalism is dying. And I hate it because we did, print and hard copy stuff at ACU. And I mean, we put a lot of work. It's a lot of work to put into that, designing the pages and, releasing it, make sure you hit deadline. And so it's a lot of work. So I feel for the people that are in that type of journalism because it's dying and people aren't using it as much anymore. But I mean, that sadly is a part of journalism that's being used less. As far as more, I mean, just like I said, online, TV, everybody will watch SportsCenter, ESPN or whatever, or if you want to watch something local, you'll turn on your favorite local station and see what they have about your high school football team, basketball team, or whatever. I think TV, some people say TV is dying, local news is dying. It just kind of really depends on where you're at, because if you have I was in Abilene, if you have a market like that, a lot of people will end up watching your sports, your station, because, they want to see if their kid or their high school is on. And I mean, a lot of the kids will watch it. A lot of the parents will watch it. So, I mean, in some markets it might be dying, but in some places you want to see it. You'll go to our online page. You'll watch our sportscast because, you want to see how school's doing or see the highlights. From parents want to see the highlights of their kid or just something like that. But I mean, TV and a lot of online, just like Google, website stuff is really what's blowing up for journalism. That's really what is important because, if you can just type in a few things, search something, and there it is, then that's journalism, and that's what people want to see. People want to search something specific and, find it and read about it, and then that just be it. Like if they want to read more about something else, they can just Google it again. So, I mean, newspapers don't always have what, you want to read. And so online, our technology is advancing. I always say it,
Yeah.
our technology is crazy today. It's only going to get crazier and more, insane, or just like, like jaw dropping type of technology. And so, I mean, just being able to read something online is really what's been big for journalism. A lot of stations and, newspaper companies are pushing online stuff, and because that's how they can get views, and certain stories get more clicks and reads, and just put the stuff out there that people want to read, and they can search it and find it in like 2 seconds, and so
Yeah.
TV and online stuff is really what's boosting for journalism right now.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I've been the victim of that, of searching something up, I guess, as opposed to reading something in the newspaper, because I guess there's other people out there who just want the information right then and there. And that's you said it kind of stinks for the people out there who are still in the print journalism area. Because, like a good example, I think, would be like UFC just had a pay-per-view not long ago, and was Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier. I wasn't able to watch the pay-per-view because I was out of town, so I had the ESPN app, and I was just constantly like looking up stuff and everything like that, and then everything. I was looking up like highlights and what's going on. I mean, so you can just look up information like just on your phone right then and there. It just that's kind of, I guess, like, you're right. Just that's the direction that journalism is kind of going to. Everything online. So I guess you said it's more quicker to get the information out right there and read it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is. It's a lot quicker, and I mean, that is the thing about online posting is like, you got Twitter and stuff that you can push immediately, and then online stories you can push immediately. Like, like I said, for newspapers, you have to wait till the morning, or you have to wait, an extended amount of time, to see any updates if you don't have any other way to update yourself, like through TV or anything. And I mean, a long time ago, that's what it was. It was newspaper, no TV,
Yeah.
it was print journalism, and that's how you read the news. Now you got updated. But I mean, now it's just kind of, since you can get all the information just in a click of a button, and people can release it within seconds, like you said, Conor McGregor, what happened? Well, immediately after the fight, people can post about it, tweet about it, put it on YouTube or whatever, or Facebook, and they're like, here's what happened, and this is what happened, and it's only a matter of seconds instead of the newspapers the next day you having to read about it. So that's a good point.
Yeah, for sure. So, just want to know, like, what about sports do you like covering? Because there's so much thing that I've seen you've done, said basketball, football. I just want to know, like, what about sports do you like covering so much?
I just really, always just like sports. I mean, there's really no way to explain it. It's just entertaining. And, if your team or your favorite player or whatever does good or wins, it's just, you feel like, that's my guy. It's just something about connection, just entertainment. Just something that you're connected to, that you support and you love and you want to see. And I think I've just always enjoyed covering just the wow factor and just the entertaining factor of sports. And it's just something I enjoy and like and do in my free time. I do it for a job, and I do it in my free time too, So I just, I've always just grown up liking sports. I think it's just, it's a tough feeling to explain. It's just, sports is just, to me, very interesting. So many cool things. It's amazing to see what these athletes can do today, just as far as, the moves they make, the athleticism that they have. It's just, it's really cool. It's something that is, sports is advancing too,
Yeah.
and you see records broken, every year. You see something, new and entertaining happen every year. There's storylines every year. It's just, it's just crazy how athletes advance and do new things every year. And I mean, we're in a time where there's so much, different, new workout equipment, things like, as far as diets and how you can become a better player, just a better person, period. It's just, it's fun to see the game advance and see the different types of moves and just like skills that players have. Every sport has new types of, advancements and, something different happening every year. And I don't know, it's just kind of like, like some person would like, gossip about pop culture or just music, or like people love The Bachelor or The Bachelorette today. Something like you would like about that is just, that's sports for me. It's just like, I like staying up to date with sports and just seeing how that's going and just covering that. And I don't know, it's just something I've grown up around and just found to be very interesting to me. I love all sports. I mean, I don't really dislike any sport. I mean, I'll watch anything from, like you said, UFC, golf, football, basketball, baseball, hockey, all of it, tennis. I mean, I'll watch it, and I mean, I really do. I think what's cool is that I enjoy some of the sports that aren't as popular to certain people. Everybody loves football, basketball, baseball, covering those main sports, but I really do enjoy golf and MMA or UFC, and not as many people know about that. And like, I think, for me, that could be a gateway to do something quicker nationally, just being more interested in something like golf or UFC, or just, being able to cover something like that. And, I just, I just am entertained by all those sports. I mean, like I said, every sport can find a way to entertain me, find a way to bring drama, or just kind of just
Yeah.
put you on the edge of your seat. And, so I just am chasing, just kind of covering, all these athletes, and just, trying to find just constantly trying to find what my next, path is, or just what, where I'm supposed to be and what's supposed to happen. And, I know for me, God has a plan, and I'm going to be, continuing to follow it and see where I end up. And I mean, I don't know where I'm going to end up, but I know it's going to be all right. And sports is just carrying me the entire way. And will take you to places like I already said, it'll take you to places you never thought you'd be. And so I know I'll continue to be surprised by where I'll end up. And sports is just, sports is amazing, and it's powerful, so.
It is, dude. It is kind of like really powerful, and he said there's always storylines to keep you helped, like entertained and keep you not entertained, but like keep you within the game to watch it more, even more so, I believe. I just want to know, like you said, kind of going down your path and everything like that. I just want to know, like, who would you say like are some of your influences that helped you along the way, or mentors that helped you?
Yeah, absolutely. As far as journalism, I mean, it's sad. I can't really say anybody at Tascosa kind of pushed me in that way. I mean, you could say my coaches, kind of, I just love sports, and, they help me like sports a lot. Just want to keep coming back for more. So, I mean, I know Coach Plunk was great. Loved him. He's a great guy. Coach Ashley and Coach Dunham, my two defensive coordinators at Tascosa. I mean, they really helped me love football and love, sports as a whole. But really just journalism started at ACU. And so, I mean, I already mentioned, Hutton Harris, the guy that did ACU TV. He was very helpful to me. He was always nice to me, always wanted to, try to help me work with my ideas and just, do things that, I wanted to do for broadcast. I already said, Kenneth Pybus, he was one of my, professors, and he was also the chair of the department by the time we were juniors or seniors. He was very, very helpful. He kind of just would talk to us and make sure we had a plan for a lot of things for our student media. And, he was there for us a lot. All my professors really at ACU were very helpful. Not trying to leave anybody off. But I know also Nathan Gibbs was also a guy. He was kind of a lot of broadcast stuff too at ACU, kind of a lot of speaking, kind of announcing stuff. He was also like our radio. We had like a college, radio station as well. And he's like the director of that. And so he was helpful for me too. Those were a lot of my mentors. I mean, some of the students, like, my friend, Lauren Franco, she was, like the editor in chief our senior year, and I was the sports director at ACU. And, she was helpful. She pushed me a lot to be great and be what I am. She was really helpful. I had a lot of people, my freshman year helped me. There's like several seniors that got me really acclimated into this whole thing. There's a girl named Shara, another guy, Daniel Zapata, Colin Weeder. They were all seniors. They did different things on the Optimist. That's our, ACU media, outlet. They helped me with that a lot. And then I kind of just moved forward. A guy named Jonathan Rates and a girl named Hannah Knoll really helped me kind of do better with broadcast and also writing. And then once they left, it was me and Lauren Franco doing a lot of things, and really just trying to, just learn and be better together. And then also had a great, a funny, great friend that would be with me in the newsroom all the time. His name was Davis Denton. He was a great guy. He was just always there. I mean, he wrote for us, but I mean, he was there in the newsroom watching a lot of funny videos when I was doing work, and he would kind of lighten the mood and help me out, just kind of, lighten me up a little bit and help me not be as stressed. And he's just the funny guy you go to and always talk with and have a good time. I mean, that was ACU. Then getting the job, KTAB, Travis Ruiz is the news director there. He talked to me. He reached out to me after I graduated and hired me. And I'm thankful that he reached out to me because I was looking for a job. I needed something, and he reached out to me and, was really good in helping me get into that job. Then my two sports guys I worked with immediately was David Robinette. He was the sports director, and then Dusty Baker, who was one of the sports reporters. They were really helpful. They trained me a lot. They're both really good guys, really nice guys. And they kind of just pushed me to be, who I am right now, and just kind of learned a lot from them. Then one of the reporters there, she was she was like the senior reporter, and then she left recently. Her name is Jessica Rank. She kind of helped me get more of a creative mind, kind of a more of a creative aspect to doing stories, kind of like creative stand-ups, creative just shots, video shots, and like nat sound stuff. And she kind of helped me get in that mindset of trying to be more creative. And then when I just recently, when Dusty left, Dan Booth was his guy that came in and replaced Dusty. And so I worked with him for about 2 or 3 months in sports, and he's a very, very good guy and very passionate and driven to do sports. And he was great to work with. And so I've definitely had a lot of great people along the way. Obviously I got to thank my parents for everything they've done for me, and just kind of, they've helped me out so much. And I mean, I can always count on them to be there for me, and my brother and sister too. My family's great. They love me and care about me a lot, and won't ever, just leave me on the side of the road or leave me in the dust. They're always there for me when I need them. And just had a lot of friends that have been there for me too. And I mean, it's a tough profession. You don't really turn the cold shoulder, but a lot of the times you're so busy that, man, I feel bad that I have to kind of like put some relationships or just some conversations off. And I feel bad because I feel like I leave some people hanging sometimes, but I'm just thankful for a lot of friends that have stuck with me, even though sometimes I'm kind of just like, oh, I'm so busy, or whatever. And, a lot of people just stuck with me, even though sometimes it may be difficult to get a hold of me or just kind of, do what I needed to do. But, I'm just thankful, man. I'm so blessed. And, there's been a lot of people that stick by me, stand by me, and help me out. And so a lot of great mentors and a lot of great friends and family that have been with me in my life. So, yep.
That's pretty neat, man. It's always, cool to have or awesome to have those people around you to help motivate you or influence you some way or another, no matter who it is or where it comes from. But I just want to ask 2 more quick questions about journalism, and then we can move on to sports if that's cool with you.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
say hi. You want to say hi? My dad giving me some more coffee. Let's go.
Good. Hey, how are you?
Where are you at?
Amarillo.
Are you in Amarillo? Oh, okay. So you're in Amarillo? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good to see you. Have a good one.
You too. Nice to meet you. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So I just want to have a quick question or 2 quick questions about journalism, and we can move on to sports. So I just want to know, in your own words, what makes a reliable reporter?
Man, that's really what I learned at the station, what I learned at KTAB. Because, when you're in college, your deadlines are not very strict. You kind of all right, kind of get it in the next day or get it in when you can or whatever. But at the station, every day you're doing a 6 o'clock and a 10 o'clock show. I mean, barring some national thing that oversteps our local shows. But, mostly every day. You're doing a 6 and 10 o'clock show. I mean, you got to have stuff in every day. So, I mean, that's, getting those deadlines in, making sure you have everything in, to anchor a show is definitely what makes someone reliable. I mean, you kind of have to have that done. Really just trying to finding stories. A lot of the times your like management or your like superior will have stories for you, but if you can find those like stories that they don't know about, or that kind of just find yourself, like kind of those hole in the wall stories, or just those stories that seem interesting but nobody really knows about. You find those, that makes you really, separate from the rest, and makes you really reliable. You know, just really not being dumb, like just kind of like, going to press conferences, asking questions that are professional, not trying to stir the pot. And there's some questions you might ask that'll stir the pot. I mean, like, what's like, asking a coach what's, that's doing bad, or a team that's doing bad, what's wrong, or what's the thing you have to fix. Some coaches are very understanding and know where their team is at and will answer the question professionally. But some coaches, maybe they're going through it that day and they just, they want nothing to do with that question. They're like, whatever. But I mean, as long as you are showing up somewhere and just asking questions that are not just rude and just kind of not thought out well, that separates you. You just ask questions that's professional and not trying to make anybody mad. You want to keep that relationship with the coach or whoever you're talking to. You want to keep it good. You want to keep a good relationship with them. And I think that's, that goes a long way. Just reporting your facts, making sure your facts are right, writing stuff that's correct and not like, your own reporting. Not being biased unless you're doing like an opinionated show or piece or whatever, something like that. You want to just be clear and concise, professional and accurate, that's just kind of, that goes a long way. Some people will force a lot of stories. Some people will try to, be extra with some things, and you don't want to do that. I think, I've seen on some of these Netflix shows, like some of these true crime, shows, they'll show videos from the past where reporters try to get up in their face. And I understand sometimes you got to do that because like some people are hard to track down, especially if it's a big murder story or something like that. You got to track these people down and kind of get in their face for questions, and still they won't answer you. But I think there's some certain circumstances where you kind of just got to leave it alone. Don't be getting in people's faces, because nobody will want to talk to a journalist that's just getting in your face. And sometimes as a journalist, you got to knock on doors. You got to get in some people's faces to get any questions, and some people are willing to answer. But if you're just kind of annoying, constantly annoying, there's good annoying and then there's bad annoying. There's like just people there that they just won't go away. They're in your face, like, hey, give us a question, and a really bad time,
Sure.
I think there's such things as, showing up and just being like, hey, can we talk real quick? We're trying to contact you. And some will be like, yeah, that's great. And some will be, I don't know. But like, I think it's good to give some people space sometimes, unless it's like a story that's like, big, huge, and like you need answers and you need stories to push pretty immediately. But that's where it gets tricky, is just not being annoying, knowing what is good pushy and what's bad pushy, you want to make sure you're trying to follow up with a story as much as possible, but you also don't want to just be like, hey, I don't care about your time. Do the story with me,
Yeah.
So it's a lot of things, and it sounds like a lot, but really a lot of it's just, ethics and just doing your stuff on time, doing what you're supposed to do. And that's really what it dumbs down to. Maybe at first it seems like a big learning curve, but once you got it all down, it's just like, it's like second nature,
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you gotta want to do it, and you gotta just, be ethical and just ready to work, and I mean, I don't think, it after a while, if you really want to do this job, you'll feel like, it's not hard to be a great reporter. It's not exactly difficult to just do your job, you know? And I mean, like, what some people do is amazing, and some people can't do that. But some people can just, you know, be a simple reporter and do their job right and just, you know, and be fine. And I think, you know, if you want to move up and you want to go somewhere else, like, you know, a higher market in TV, you got to go above and beyond. You got to be more creative. You got to do extra things. But some people, you know, you can just be a simple reporter, and some people love that in certain markets, you know. So, I mean, it's just kind of like, you know, depending on what you want to do, where you want to go, just kind of, you know, is dependent on how good you are or how, you know, you do things. And some people are fine with where they're at. Some people want to keep moving up. And so, I mean, you know, it's really just like I said, being a great reporter, being a good person to some of these subjects, and then, you know, just making sure you hit your deadlines and just trying to take creative angles and working hard every day. That's really how you succeed at this job. So, yep.
Oh, it's awesome. You know, a lot of great information just spilled out just now, but I guess it kind of ties in with the next question a tad. I just want to know, like, what advice would you give to, I guess, high schoolers or any other students for that matter who are considering journalism as a route? Like, what advice would you say beforehand that you maybe learned in college that you would have given to these kids, you know?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, like I said, with visiting ACU, experience right away was what helped me. So I would say just, you know, if you're in high school, look for a college that'll offer you experience. Get as much experience as you can, you know. I mean, however much work or, you know, opportunities you can get to, you know, right off the bat. Just thinking about that. I mean, being in high school, I know there's journalism classes. You can do those classes. I didn't do them in high school. I didn't know I wanted to do broadcast or journalism really in high school until my senior year. But, you know, I'd say just start, you know, getting experience, watch a lot of sports, just know sports. I mean, whatever your favorite sport is, or, you know, if you like all sports, just keep watching it. You know, establish yourself on social media, even if you're not really in a job, just kind of like, you know, have a Twitter, Instagram, Facebook or whatever, tweet about it. You never know when you can go viral for a funny sports tweet or something that's true, like a very factual sports tweet. Twitter does wonders, you know, just being able to express yourself and say how you feel about sports. Just, you know, I would say, like, yeah, as a student in high school or, college, just express yourself as much as possible without sounding, you know, dumb, you know. But oh, what? Oh, yeah. Sorry.
So good.
You're just kind of whatever, however you can express yourself, just, you know, do that and use your platforms that you have as a student. But as a college student specifically, get that experience, get, you know, broadcast experience, writing experience, really pay attention in your classes, get to know your professors well, be that guy they can go to for anything broadcast. That's what I ended up doing at ACU is I did like the debates for our student government thing. I hosted that. I mean, I hosted a lot of different things, not just sports. So, I mean, like, be a guy that they can go to for whatever. Try to be that kind of person in your college. If you're doing broadcast, if you're doing writing, just try to be the sports editor or director as quick as possible and just work hard and write as many cool feature pieces, but also game pieces, or just, you know, write stories. Just keep writing, you know. Really it just boils down to experience, you know, getting all those reps that you can, establishing great connections, just, you know, whatever you want to do in journalism, experience, reps, knowing, you know, people, having the connections, and just, you know, doing that. That's really just what, you know, you want to do. That's the advice I would give, is just, you know, really work hard. And I mean, a lot of people who tell you that, but that's true, you know, work hard, get those experiences that you can, and just, you know, try to work on your deadlines and doing stuff as quick as possible early. And, you know, just be a good presence, have a great, strong communication presence.
Sure.
Just be known,
Yeah.
don't make yourself the center of attention, but like just, let everyone know like, hey, I can analyze this. I know like what I'm doing, and like this is like, I'm here for the long run, and this is what I'm trying to do, So experiences, just being a very communicative, personable type of person, and just establishing your platform, and just put yourself out there however you can. So yeah.
That's pretty neat. Really great advice, just, having that great, experience and work ethic, I think, and have a strong presence, that's pretty great advice, to give to
Yeah.
anybody out there, who wants to get in this field, that's pretty great advice, I think, but,
Yeah.
so if you want, do you want to kind of dive into a little bit of sports now?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, first I kind of want to talk about the NFL, cause season's about to start in a few weeks, about to start preseason not before long, so I
Absolutely.
want to get your thoughts on NFL and kind of what to expect, going on. So, because it feels like you might be more in tune about maybe some stuff, maybe I don't know. That's what I think. I don't know. I'll give you wrong. So, I just want to know, like, I imagine you've heard about it. It feels like if you're in sports, you know kind of what's going on
Yeah.
about Aaron Rodgers and everything like that.
Oh
I
yeah.
kind of want to know. I just want to know, like, what's your honest thoughts on the whole situation?
Well,
It's kind of a
it's
broad question.
weird. It's weird because I think Aaron Rodgers has had, problems for a while. I think it started with when Jordy Nelson was traded away. I think
Mhm.
he was really upset by that because that was his, that was one of his number ones for a while, or
Yeah.
just one of his go-to guys. And so I remember after he went to the Raiders, I believe, he was
Mhm.
pretty upset with that and kind of wanted out of Green Bay, but he stayed. This time around, I think it's basically the same thing. Nothing really like. I think he's just upset they're not winning. They're not getting over that hump in the playoffs. They beat the Steelers in the Super Bowl, and I think it was what was it? 2008, 2009, I believe.
Somewhere, that sounds right about right in that area.
And that was, I mean, that was great. They were a great team. They had a great defense, a great offense, and they were a complete team. I think now it's just they're not clicking on both sides of the ball in that late hump in the playoffs, just like, in the championship or in the divisional round. Their defense is messing up at some point, or they're not clicking on offense. And I think he's just upset they're not winning, but I think they can be a great team. They can get over that hump.
Mhm.
Um, I think right now, really, it's just they got to figure out some things on defense. They got to be a little more complete on defense because they're good during the regular season. They're good enough during the regular season, but then when they get deep in the playoffs, they can't really figure out, at least on defense, how to I mean they played Tom Brady in such a great offense, so I don't blame them for having a struggle with those guys. But I mean, I think it's just if they can figure out more on defense, their offense is totally fine now.
It is, yeah.
Obviously Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, running back Jamal Williams just left, but they'll be able to find a second guy. Aaron Jones, great running back. Um, obviously Devontae Adams, one of
Yeah.
the probably top three receiver in the league in my opinion. And then Valdez Scantling, he's a good number two guy when he's on fire. And then Robert Tonyan, great breakout tight end for them this last year. So they've got the weapons on offense, and their offensive line is great as well. I think they can. I mean, he's got the guys he needs on offense. They just really gotta step it up a little more defensively. And I think I mean, like I would understand Rodgers leaving, but I think he's got a good enough team. They just really gotta find a way to beat probably it's going to be the Buccaneers they run into again in the playoffs. Uh,
Yeah.
they just Aaron Rodgers is a very talented quarterback. I mean, he's so good. He can run when he needs to, but man, he's got that gunslinger arm. And
Yes. Yeah.
I think it just was the expectation that he would win maybe 2 or 3 more Super Bowls because of that early Super Bowl win. And then since he hasn't won one since then, has kind of been in a way not meeting expectations because they expected to win at least 1 or 2 more. And
Sure.
so I think he's probably going to stay with the Packers. I think if they can just, build up defense a little more, they'll be fine. They'll be all right.
Yeah.
It's just they're going to have to get over that championship hump, and try to figure out a way to get to another Super Bowl. And
Yeah.
he's a great quarterback. I think it'd be like the Broncos that are interested in him, Saints are interested in him. I think if he goes to one of those teams, it'd be a stellar team. But like I just couldn't see him going to another team besides the Packers. I think he's going to stay. He's got one more year on his contract, I believe. So maybe he plays this one more year, and then maybe after that he can sign in free agency or somewhere else that he wants to go. That would be fine. But I would think he stays one more year, and I think they can have a great year. I think they can have a good year. It's just it's gonna be the Buccaneers now. The Buccaneers kept basically everybody, and they're looking good. So I mean they're a tough team, especially with Tom Brady's leadership. With him leading everybody and being, the veteran everyone needs. I don't know, because that's in my mind is what it's going to be. It's going to be Packers and Buccaneers again, and who's going to win that one, and who's going to go to the Super Bowl. But that's my opinion on Rodgers. He's probably going to stick around another year.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to pick. That's what I wanted to kind of pick your brain about a little bit more. So it's like you're kind of right. They go deep in the playoffs. It feels like it's always the NFC Championship that they lose it a little bit. That's where they always end up going. They always go. It's always like a game away from the Super Bowl. Like last season and the season before that, it's always one game away from the Super Bowl, and they just can't solve that extra part of the algorithm to solve what's going on. It's like, and they're just having to do that. But I kind of want. That's what I wanted to kind of speak to you about a little bit more. Do you believe he's leave? I know you said he plans on staying another year, but after that, where do you see him going? Do you think he's re-signing after that 1 year, or do you think he's leaving and he's saying I'm out?
Well, I mean that's interesting. I mean, a lot of days it's about, sometimes it's about money, sometimes it's about can you win, sometimes it's about what's the team look like, what's the experience. It's really free game. This year is just kind of a shot in the dark. I think he just stays one more year with his contract. But next year, I mean, it's free game. Whoever offers him good money and who he can make a good fit with, what team he can work well with, is really what it comes down to. I mean, he might leave. I mean, Tom Brady obviously left the Buccaneers and he's won a Super Bowl in his first year. So who's to say Rodgers can't go somewhere else and have a great experience? I don't know. It's really just it's going to come down to who's going to give him a good deal, who's going to trust in him, how is he going to make a impact? How is he going to do? How is he going to do this? How is it going to look? And I don't know. I mean, it's a contract situation, and I mean, I would say the odds are a lot better of him maybe trying another team after his contract is up this next year. But the Packers will try to do everything they can to keep him until he retires. So I would just say the chances are definitely a lot better of him going to another team next year, maybe, rather than this year. But I think he stays on the Packers this year, and then next year's kind of just free game. Really, a good odds that he could probably go somewhere else or just stay with the Packers. But he's a great player. A lot of teams want him. A lot of teams would love to have a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers. But next year, I think I would say it's a good chance that he might try to leave, and he could surprise us and just stay. But I mean, definitely a better chance next year that he's on a different team. But yeah,
It's kind of crazy. Yeah, I kind of agree. I can kind of see that too a little bit. It's kind of crazy. I think Green Bay's gonna, after this year, if he were to stay this one last year with Green Bay, I have a feeling like Green Bay's gonna throw all the money at him just to make him stay in Green Bay and get, a couple more titles. That's what I think, but I don't know. I could be wrong, but I don't know. That's what I was thinking, but I just want to know, like, I was gonna ask you, overall, who do you think if he wins or not wins, if he leaves, who do you think wins in that situation? Is it Rodgers or is it Green Bay? If he wins or stays, who wins?
What are you saying?
Sorry, if he wins, or sorry, I didn't word that really good at all. I'm sorry. I
Fine.
got tongue tied. Uh, who wins in the situation if Aaron Rodgers, leaves or stays?
Man, I mean, it depends on where Rodgers goes, really, if he leaves. I think if Rodgers went somewhere like the Saints or the Broncos, I would say he would win and he'd probably have a good time with those teams. If he goes somewhere else, I don't really know. I think it'd be a loss for the Packers really either way because they lose Aaron Rodgers, and I mean Jordan Love is their guy who would take over. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he has a chance to thrive, but I mean, who knows though? I mean, who knows what he's going to do? I mean, Aaron Rodgers is a tough act to follow, obviously.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think for now the Packers would obviously take a big hit, a big loss if Aaron Rodgers was to leave. At the same time though, Aaron Rodgers is, I think, I forget how old he is, 37 or 38. So he's nearing, the time where time's gonna slow him down, and so I mean, who knows how long it'll be before Aaron Rodgers starts slowing down a lot. But I mean, with his talent right now, with how good he is right now, I mean, the Packers would definitely lose. I think they'd lose a lot of chemistry and flow in their offense if he was gone. It's hard for me to think of a situation how the Packers would win with him leaving, you know. So I think it would be a win for Aaron Rodgers to leave, and then for the Packers, it'd be tough to replace him. But who knows? Maybe Jordan Love would come in behind him and do a really good job and be really good. But with the way you see it right now, if he leaves, the Packers lose, and Aaron Rodgers kind of wins. But if he stays, obviously the Packers win. So that's what I believe.
Yeah. Do you think if Rodgers, like in the like today, like right now, like as we're recording this, if Rodgers were to leave, do you think there's any added pressure on Jordan Love to be the next quarterback? Because, we had, Brett Favre originally for Green Bay, and Rodgers was his backup, and it came, Aaron stepped up and became the MVP that he is and Super Bowl champion. Do you think Jordan Love has that added pressure to replace the shoes that Brett Favre and Aaron once wore? Do you think there's any added pressure on Jordan's part?
Well, definitely. I mean, like I said, I mean, like to be a following act to Aaron Rodgers. That's tough. But like you said, when Aaron Rodgers followed Brett Favre, I mean, that was a tough act to follow as well, and he did it. He did it good. He did. I mean, Aaron Rodgers really replaced him very well, and he's been a great quarterback. Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers were really similar in a lot of ways. Brett Favre is a gunslinger, threw a lot of long passes and a lot of great passes, touchdown passes, and he won one Super Bowl, and Aaron Rodgers has won one Super Bowl. So I mean, both great quarterbacks, just looking to try to trying to win again. Trying to find that. Find that mojo, find that formula to get past the championship and get to the Super Bowl. Jordan Love has a chance. I mean, I don't think they would have just taken him with that first round pick without trying to get Aaron Rodgers another weapon. I don't think they would have just done that for nothing,
Yeah.
So I think Jordan Love would have a chance. I would need to see him though. I haven't really seen much from him, So I mean, I would like to see how he would do in an NFL game. So he could be a good following act. I mean, I think the Packers believe in him, obviously, if they took him in that first round 2 years ago. But, it'd be interesting to see. I mean, like we were talking about, tough act to follow. But Aaron Rodgers did it with Brett Favre, and so I don't see why he couldn't try to do his best and follow him as well. I know when Brett Hundley would have to come in, when he got drafted from UCLA, when he'd have to come in and play for the Packers, he didn't do a great job. He kind of struggled a little bit. I think he could have been a great quarterback if he had the right time to learn and then come in when the time was right. I think maybe Jordan Love is getting a lot of that right now, just kind of working under Aaron Rodgers and learning from him. And so I would say maybe it's a great case of him, when it's time for him to come in and quarterback, whatever happens with Aaron Rodgers, I could see him, coming in and doing a good job. So who's to say Jordan Love can't do good? I think he could do good. He could do good things. I just need to see him play, because it's hard when you got the noise of Aaron Rodgers and then he's backing him up. And so I would like to see him play and just see what happens with that situation.
Yeah, for sure. It feels like Jordan Love's been drafted, it feels like there's been so much noise, for Jordan, I think, because when he got, his pick, when he got drafted, it feels like there was not a lot of happy campers for Green Bay, because it feels like, why would you draft a quarterback? Because we have got Aaron Rodgers, but, it's hard to say that, because being the situation that we're on now, because I've always heard that situations are situational, and, it's hard to read kind of what's going on now, so it's kind of hard to understand, but, I think Jordan Love, like you said, it's hard to see what to expect from him, because we haven't really seen much from him, so, yeah, it'd be kind of crazy to see what to expect for this upcoming season from the Packers, but there's another team I kind of want to talk about, kind of shift gears a little bit, get your thoughts on, because it would be kind of remiss if I didn't talk about something like my team, the team that's in our same conference as the Packers, and that's the Cowboys. So, I want to get your thoughts on some of that. So, for Dak, he's coming back from a pretty gruesome, injury and everything like that. So, I was going to get your thoughts. Do you think the Cowboys are getting, the same version of Dak we saw before, or are we getting a Dak 2.0?
See, that's tough to say, because we we haven't really seen him post injury yet. I think he can step right back in and do great. I mean, he's Dak Prescott. He's a solid quarterback. He's been good for the Cowboys. He's a good leader, and he works hard. There's really, for me, there's two different stories from coming back from an injury. Some guys come back and just blow doors. Some guys come back and they're never the same again. I would hope, as a Cowboys fan, that it's, he's good. He can return and do well. But it's hard to say, from what I've heard, it sounds like he's doing all right. He's doing good. He's going to be okay to return and play well. I just hope something else doesn't happen. I hope that he's just able to, I'd like to see him maybe not run as much, even though, I mean, before the injury, he could run when he needed to, and he was a pretty fast guy for a quarterback. But I'd like to see him, throw a lot more passes, just be more controlled in the pocket, and just, just be a true NFL quarterback who can sit in the pocket. I mean, escape when you need to, but just, throw those, NFL passes where you just can be calm and collected in the pocket and make the right decision when necessary. And, I think he can do that. He throws great passes. People want to say that, sometimes he's not exactly, a great pocket passer, but I mean, I think he's just as good as, a lot of guys in the league. He's got a strong arm. I probably needs to work on accuracy a little bit. I remember several times different games where he's thrown passes and it's been off target. And so he's got to work on accuracy quite a bit. But I mean, at the same time though, he's thrown a lot of great passes, a lot of on target passes, great strong arm that he has on him. I mean, he led the league in yards for like another 3 or 4 weeks post injury. He was doing so good. I mean, he was up like I want to say like 1,000 yards on some of these guys, and he was still in the lead for yardage or passing yards after like 2 or 3 weeks from him sitting out. And so I mean he can rack up a lot of yards. For them, it's just going to be he's got to get them in the end zone more. A lot of the times, Cowboys get in the red zone, and it's a field goal or no points. I feel like there's a lot of times they score more touchdowns outside of the red zone than they do in the red zone, which is crazy. So they get in the red zone and they freak out. They can't get that short enough play to just get past the goal line. It's a lot of field goals, and it's so disappointing. That's the epitome of being a Cowboys fan. But just gotta. They gotta just simply, and I mean, every team has to do this. They gotta get in the end zone, but for them, they really gotta get in the end zone, Like they gotta just find that play, especially in the red zone, or just not even one play. Just, they gotta be creative. You're gonna get Zeke the ball, get Zeke the ball. If you're gonna run a slant or a short pass play, do it. They gotta figure out red zone play a lot better. They gotta score more touchdowns in the red zone. And, that's what I want to see Dak has hopefully improved on, because he can throw those long passes. He's got those deep threat receivers, or just those quick threatening receivers. He's got the skill guys he needs. They just gotta, once they get in the red zone, gotta get past that white line. So,
You're kind of talking about, running and passing the ball, and I kind of looked this up a little bit before the podcast. Zeke is running for about this is his career average, 6,384 yards with 46 touchdowns, and his average career is, I believe, 58 yards a carry, give or take. And I just want to get your take. Do you think Zeke is going to be more utilized in the run game, or do you think we're going to see more receivers come out and be more dominant in the pass game?
well, the thing is, Zeke had been utilized a lot, in these past seasons, and especially when Dak's, stepped down, they've depended on him a lot more. And I wouldn't say he was, pressured so much. He had that game against the Cardinals where he fumbled 2 or 3 times, I believe. It's not so much pressure as it is depending on a running back to be your best player. I don't really care what kind of running back you have. If your running back is going to be your best player, then that's not good, because you can't really rely on a running back, because they take, for one thing, they take a lot of punishment. There's a lot of brutal hits on those guys. They're getting hit every time they run the ball. Another thing, you can't really run your entire way to the end zone with one guy. Tascosa's got this offense, the triple option offense, where there's so many ways they can run the ball, and so it's hard for a defense to figure that out. That's different. But if you're just running a pro eye, you're running with one running back, you can't do that. You can't just kind of just go up the middle or run to the outside and try to do that all the way down the field. So the Cowboys, I think, struggled with that, knowing that they're trying to make Zeke their best player. Your best player on offense has to be your quarterback, or at least your best leader has to be the quarterback regardless, because the quarterback is where it all starts. He's the guy. He's the leader. So they were trying to make Zeke their best player this last year. And, I mean, it doesn't matter if you have LaDainian Tomlinson or, Adrian Peterson or even Walter Payton in the backfield. It doesn't matter. Or not Deion Sanders. No, why is he escaping my mind right now? Lions quarterback, all time great.
Oh, I know you're talking about.
Oh man, it's embarrassing.
The one that went to LA?
No, he was Oklahoma State running back. Then he went to the Lions, and he's one of the all time greats. But man, golly, it's escaping my mind. But anyway, just who
you're talking about, I think, but it's running my mind too.
I can't believe I'm forgetting about it. I'm gonna have to search it. But while I'm searching, it's just your running back cannot be your best player, because there's so much punishment dealt to a running back, and there's a lot of predictability in just kind of a run play. You got to be able to throw the ball, because there's so much more creativity in throwing the ball in the NFL these days rather than just running the ball. So that's really what, Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders, yes.
I believe sometimes now and then there's a lot of things that'll escape my mind. I'm just like, come on, why am I forgetting his name? Barry Sanders, obviously. But it doesn't matter who you have in the backfield. When your running back is your best player, for one thing, you most likely will not win a Super Bowl. You won't get very far. You have to have a great quarterback, and you really got to have a great defense, really, too, a lot of ways. Your running back cannot be your best player, because they just can't carry the team on their shoulders. With that being said, though, if Dak comes back and plays the way he played, like his first, 2-3 years or whatever, when he came in and had a dominant rookie season, I would hope they use Zeke the way he's supposed to be used, because when Dak is on fire, that allows Zeke to run his plays and, bulldoze through the offensive line and get, however many yards. And I think Zeke is just a major bonus for the Cowboys when Dak Prescott is on the top of his game. Ezekiel Elliott can do the great things, but he like, a lot of other players can't be the best player on the team, can't be the guy that they depend on. He can rack up a lot of yards as long as Dak is on fire with his passes and being very well creative with, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and Michael Gallup, probably the best trio receiving corps in the NFL, or at least top three, So I expect a lot of things. I don't want to expect a lot of things since Dak is coming off injury, but I also do expect a lot of things. When you're a Cowboys fan, there's always a lot of expectations on the Cowboys. I like to call myself a realistic Cowboys fan because a lot of the times I just think they'll be subpar. They'll be 9-7 or around that place. It could be a possibility of 9-8 this year with 17 games, or whatever it might be, 10-7. But it's just to your question, bottom line is, Dak's got to step up and be great in the passing game for Zeke to be used and do his thing. They can't really just depend on Zeke. They got to depend on Dak. It's really on his shoulders as the quarterback to make everything work and make everything right. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So you're talking about kind of like the record a little bit, like, with a 17 game season. So do you see yourself, like, do you think the Cowboys, not yourself, but do you see the Cowboys really, like, with the season finally, like regular season, if we're not counting playoffs, just the regular season, where do you really see, like, your thoughts on? I want to get your thoughts on really where do you see the Cowboys finishing the regular season when the dust settles?
Yeah, I think like I was saying, if Dak is up at the top of his game, they should be winning the NFC East because like if you saw last year, the Cowboys still had a chance even without Dak. The NFC East is just struggling right now, and I think what's crazy is the Washington football team will be pretty good. They've kind of found some things. Chase Young is an anchor for that defense, great pass rusher. And then they kind of just got to find their quarterback, who's going to, quarterback for them. They're a good team. I think they're rising up, but I still think they got a lot of questions. And I think if, everybody plays to their potential for the Cowboys, I think they definitely should be winning the NFC East. They should be atop that division. I think, I don't want to say that they'll just completely sweep the NFC East, but they could go, they can definitely go 5-1 or beat, win 5 and lose 1 in that division. Because they're all kind of in a tough spot right now. They're in a weird kind of rebuilding phase. And I don't really think the Cowboys are in a rebuilding phase. I think they gotta definitely build their defense better. They've gotta have a good secondary. Our secondary, with the exception of Byron Jones, I've always said this, never really had a guy in the last however many years that's wowed me in the secondary. They gotta have a better secondary. And just their inside, their box core linebackers and defensive line is usually pretty good. DeMarcus Lawrence is a stellar guy.
He is.
But I mean, it's their secondary. They gotta be able to control the passing game a lot better than they do. And I mean, if they do that, I don't think they're in a rebuild phase at all. I think their offense is where it needs to be. I think the defense is fine if they can get build up the secondary a little better. So for me, they should be winning the division. Now, with that being said, the Cowboys like to fall short of expectations in the last 10 however many years. But for me, I think the Cowboys should be winning the division this year if everything goes to plan and Dak is, fully healthy and back on his game.
Oh, for sure. I think I think kind of agree with you. We should win. I think there's no reason why we shouldn't win the NFC East because I believe, like you said, we're not really rebuilding a whole lot. We're not like in a situation where Green Bay's at or anything like that, for example. We have everything we need. It's just having to, I guess, correct a couple minor things, and then we should be winning the NFC East and going to playoffs pretty good. But anything to do just to get Stephen A. to not be talking trash on the Cowboys or anything like that, because it's always Monday mornings on First Take when I hear Stephen A. talking trash about the Cowboys after a Sunday's loss. It's always that's what's he just
those Cowboys.
I know. He's just doing his job, and I hate it. I mean, I know he's just doing his job, but he's like the biggest Cowboy hater ever, I think. But
Oh yeah.
uh,
It's funny because he doesn't even hate the Cowboys. He just hates the fans. He said that from day one. Like he just doesn't like the fans because we're always like, this is our year. There's more Cowboys fans like us that are realistic and know like, it's probably not our year, like
yeah,
then they would be fine. But he just hates Cowboys fans. And, I don't blame him because, their Cowboys fans are, pretty rough.
they
And
can be.
I mean, he likes to make fun of the Cowboys, and when I see him doing a video, I honestly just laugh because I'm like, that's just the Cowboys. They're a laughable franchise right now, and like they're not a low end, terrible, bad franchise like a 1-win, 2-win team,
Yeah,
but they fall short of expectations. It makes you feel like they're a bad team, and they just don't. They seem like they're a bad franchise because they fall short in the most just brutal ways. So when I see Stephen A. Smith just laughing them up or just laughing at him, I just can't help but laugh either. I'm just like, he's right. There's so many high expectations for him every year, and they've been falling short the last 10, 15 years.
yeah,
And so they are laughable right now. And I mean, there's always an expectation for them to go to the championship game or go to the Super Bowl. And they haven't done it. They haven't won the Super Bowl since 1995. So, I mean, that's just how it is.
I don't know. That's back when we still had the big triplets, like Troy Aikman and Emmett and all those guys, still running it. It's like crazy to think, that's one of the last times that we were still like the epitome of the NFL almost, it's like,
Been born yet. So,
oh yeah. But yeah, so I kind of get, as we kind of start to wrap up, I just kind of want to get your thoughts on actually two more questions, then we'll wrap everything up. So, who do you think for the Cowboys, will have a standout year this year?
hmm. Uh, you know, I think the obvious choice, kind of like a breakout year, would be CeeDee Lamb. He had a great year last year. Showed that as a rookie, kind of like Justin Jefferson with the Vikings. They showed that like, hey man, I mean, yeah, we're rookies, but we're receivers. We can still torch guys. We're fast. And I think CeeDee Lamb. I think Justin Jefferson got a lot of credit because he had Pro Bowl numbers. He had like veteran numbers last year. And he really showed out last year, and he got a Pro Bowl. I believe he got an All Pro selection as well. But I think CeeDee Lamb was kind of shadowed by the fact that he also had to work with Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup. So I mean, CeeDee Lamb's got a shot to really have those Pro Bowl numbers, those All Pro numbers next year. I think it's just amazing that we even got him in the draft, that he slid down to us. I didn't care who we needed. The fact that he was available in that 14th pick 2 years ago, or I think it was 14th pick 2 years ago, I was like, oh man, they should draft him because then our offense could be unstoppable.
Yeah.
So, I was like, I didn't care if we needed a safety or if we needed whatever we needed. I was just happy we got him because that's just an amazing pick. And so he's got a chance, I think, to have an even better year this year, a breakout year, a type of one that he can get in the Pro Bowl and he can be an All-Pro guy. I'm trying to think, I really think that's the best chance for a breakout year. I mean, you could talk about Dak, coming back from injury. He's like one of the favorites. I think second best betting favorite to be like comeback player of the year, win that award. I mean, I think that's definitely, that would be it. Because to come back from an injury like that and be the Dak he was before that, I think would be awesome. Yeah, I think just with CD, I want to see how CeeDee Lamb does in the sophomore year, and just kind of come out, guns blazing over there on the whiteout. That's really just what I want to see. I really just, I want to see the defense as a whole have a breakout year. Just the
Me too.
secondary really, that's just kind of what I want to see. Just defense do well. CeeDee Lamb have a Pro Bowl, maybe All Pro year. Yeah, I know the Cowboys. Like I said, their expectations are high, and I want to see them meet it this year. So yeah.
Yeah, I think CD could have a breakout year too, because I'm a Texas fan, like UT fan, and when he was playing for OU, when CD was playing for OU, he torched us. Like I remember the year before he got drafted, he like killed us.
Yep.
So I was like, when he slid down that draft as far as we did, we were able to get him. That's the only time I was happy because not for an OU guy, because we was like, oh God, this guy could really help our offense, a little bit more. He's that extra puzzle piece that could really make us go a little bit more in a long, like better, like us make us that much more better.
Mhm.
And kind of happy though. That's a good pick, I think, overall for Jerry
Excellent.
to get that year.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I was so happy when he slid down and we got him. I think barring Dak's health and how good he'll look next year, I mean, man, our offense could be great. If we get a tight end, we figure it out at tight end. I mean, we could be totally fine. Just be our defense that needs answers. And I don't know. I just want to see him do good, because like it's been too many disappointing years, too many falling short years. I just want to see him be great, and just kind of do what they do what they did back in the 90s and the 80s, and actually witness the Cowboys being great because I was not alive when the Cowboys were great.
No,
So
me
uh,
either.
that's what I want to see, But we'll see. I mean, it's an interesting thing. I mean, only getting to the season then time, will tell. So I'm excited. I'm ready. I want to see these Cowboys play. So
Me too. I really want to see a championship sometime in my lifetime for the Cowboys because, I think 2014 was the year I think that we should have won with Tony Romo and all that, the year that does didn't catch it or whatever that it was that game.
the
So even though it was a catch,
does caught it. Yeah, it does caught it. But
yeah,
that was a we had a chance that year. If that was a reception, they might have won the Super Bowl. So, but I don't know for sure.
yeah. So I guess kind of the last question to wrap this whole podcast up is a question I kind of ask all my guests at the end. So I kind of want to ask you too is, what three things, Max, are you grateful for?
Man, that's a great question. Um, for first and foremost, I'm thankful to God to where He's gotten me, and just thankful that He's always guided me, even if I haven't been faithful before or in the past or right now. He's always been there for me. He's got a plan for me. He's there. I mean, He's saved me and He's brought me along a path that I just can't explain and sometimes don't understand. But man, it's been great, and it just really He's established patience in me, and He's been there for me. He'll never not be there for me. He'll always be there for me, and thankful for the Lord and what He's done for me. And He's amazing, and all glory to God always. Two, thankful for my family. My family is just amazing. They're always there for me. They're just open arms, and anytime I want to come back home or just be here for a little bit, they're there for me, and they'll support me in any way they want. No matter the decision I make to go wherever I go next, they support me. They believe in me, and they're there for me. So I'm thankful for my family. Um, Really just the third thing, I'm just thankful for all the people that have been there for me, and just kind of being able to learn and accelerate and be in the place that I'm at. I'm just thankful for just experiences and just the great thing of sports, the great thing of sports existing. I just, I enjoy it so much. I'm thankful for, life as a whole, and being able to experience just the beautiful things of this earth. And it's just, man, because that sounds like a generic God first, family second, and then everything last, or myself last. But I mean, that's really just what it comes down to, man. It's just like, life can always be made great if you want to make it great. And I'm just thankful for everything and everyone that's gotten me here. And just love living life and love being who I am. It's awesome. It's great. I love it very much.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thank you so much for sharing all that information. Thank you for coming on too. And, I had a lot of fun, talking journalism and sports about you. So thank you for coming on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Carter. I appreciate it, man. If you ever want me to come on again in the future, I'd love to, man. This was great. I really enjoyed this.
Oh yeah, thanks, man. So maybe come back on and talk maybe some more sports or whatever else. You're always welcome to come back on whenever.
Absolutely, man. If I'm doing a strict sports show, I'm always down. I'll talk about whatever you want me to talk about. So appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. So thank you to everybody watching. I hope everybody has a great weekend. So thank you, everybody, and thank you again, Max, and everybody have a good day. Bye. Hey, did you like watching that last episode of What Really Happened? If so, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more content on this channel.